Hello guys and welcome back to the last episode of the Gothic 2 returning New Balance 3.0. From this point on, there's not going to be any new updates on this particular playthrough or guide because this is the end of the line. This is chapter 7 squeezed into about 40 minutes. The mod has been updated to 4.0 and chapter 7 has actually been deleted. So this is going to be the last video, and just for those that actually do want to play it, this is how it goes. At the beginning, you're going to be in the ship, you're going to talk to all the crew, you're going to give 3 runes for them to teleport to owner's farm and then move on. You're gonna want to hit one of the orcs, killing them, which damages you a bit, and the strange things quests updates. Then we're gonna teleport to the monastery and we're gonna talk to Vatras, and he's gonna tell us that he wants to know what's up with the water mages in Jarkandar, and you're gonna go check out what's all that about. But before that, we have to talk to Pyrakar about the Guardians. So the Guardians are these sort of immortal beings, and we need to deprive them of their divine power. But Pyrakar doesn't know all the answers, so he's only gonna give you the information he does know and whatever he finds in the basement of the monastery. You're also gonna talk to him about Pedro, the novice that has stolen the Eye of Innos in chapter 4 with the influence of the Orcs and of course the Dark Seekers. So you give Pyrakar 5,000 gold to let Pedro live and come back to the monastery as a novice, but he will never become a fire mage. Then you want to teleport to Fort Asgan and go talk to Lord Hagen, who has been teleported here from the city of Corinnes, or fled from city of Corinnes. You talk to him about what happened and what can be done for this whole orc thing that happened in Corinnes, the city of Corinnes itself. We will want to gather as many people from different camps as possible. So make that the mercenaries, the hunters, the water mages, the fire mages, the brotherhood, and we'll see what else we got here. Then he asks you to check on the escort of a few paladins that went to the Valley of Mines in search for Lord Garand and other paladins that are still stuck in the castle. This person's name is Nathan, the leader of the paladin group in the Valley of Mines. He says that we could attack the castle together, but that's up to you if you want to do it alone or with the group of paladins. You can also ask the dragon hunters to join the paladins, and together you could storm the castle. I myself did it solo because this was absolutely easy, of course. And just going outside the gate, I tried to kill as many as possible, so I wouldn't have to deal with all of them inside once I teleported inside the castle. Here are the rest of the orcs that I had to kill, plus the leader. And once the leader has been killed, all of the paladins that have been outside teleport inside the castle. You go to the dungeon, you talk to Lord Garand about saving everybody. Then you open all the gates. Udar and Oric and Parzival are also here. Then talk to Lord Garand again. Make sure you open the gate to the castle. First you have to get the key from the gate guard himself, that is up on this ledge, and then open the gate so you can actually get out. If you try to go over the ledge where the catapult is, or the trebuchet, then you will not be able to go because the paladins just don't follow you, they get stuck. Once you reach the pass to the Valley of Mines, or in this case the pass to Corinnes, the quest will update. You talk to Lord Garand again, and eventually you go back to Corinnes to the Valley of Mines pass, where they will wait for you outside at the gate. A few might die if you have not cleared this area beforehand, but as soon as you get there, Lord Garand will talk to you automatically. He has a question about where Lord Hagen is. You tell him that Lord Hagen has been at Fort Asgan and they will move there eventually. You can also talk to Udar. He will give you a little quest where he wants to hunt some orcs, but he wants to be rescued by Nathan. I don't know what's that all about, if it's a love story or not. You talk to Nathan, and he says that in the meantime, while you're talking, that he sees that somebody is missing, and that somebody is Udar. Now, if you haven't cleared anything in this area before, then Udar won't go so far ahead. In my case, he didn't go far at all, as you can see. And I went ahead with Nathan and cleared out all the monsters and orcs all the way up to the cemetery near the Tavern of the Dead Harpy. Now, once you clear all the orcs here, Nathan will automatically talk to you. You'll get 5,000 experience, and basically the quest is done. You can also talk to Udar, and he will give you, it's called a Ring Word of Power. You can then go back to Fort Asgan, we'll talk to Lord Hagen, and tell him about the expedition that was successful. You came back with most of the paladins that came through the pass. Now we talk about recruiting everybody else for this mission against war with the orcs, and here is where it gets started. We're first gonna go to Owner's Farm, and we're gonna talk to Lee. Lee would like to have ore weapons for his mercenaries, but since he doesn't know how to make them, even though Bennett already knows how to make them, it's kind of funny and silly at the same time, but I guess they're not the same as paladin weapons. We will have to go back to Lord Hagen and ask him for a recipe for it. So he gives you a Hagen's note, which you have to read. You read the note, then you go to the forge itself, or in this case the anvil, and you can make 30 simple ore swords. They just require 1 piece of ore each. You should have plenty at this point. Once you make them, you can go back to Lee. Lee will accept this gift, and he will officially join the War of the Orcs with the Paladins. Then we'll go to the Brotherhood, and we're going to talk to Bal Orun, who is the leader of the camp, but he's not the leader of the fighting class. So you go to Gornakosh instead, who asks for 50 speed potions. In this case, we're going to have to go to the pirate camp. Since we're here, we're going to talk to Greg, who will have the proposition to also fight with the Paladins. Then we also go to Samuel, who is an alchemist brewer for the pirates, and he's going to give us 50 hasty herrings, which are the speed potions of the pirates, so to speak. You're going to have to buy all of them, unfortunately. We then go to Satras as well, who will ask us to check on Riordan in the library. He's been studying on some new stuff, but he hasn't come back. So Riordan is here in the library on the right wing, but unfortunately he has met his demise in the hands of the Guardians. You can talk to him first. You got a little bit of experience here, and then you're gonna have to fight him and defeat him. Once you're done with that, you can easily teleport back to the water mages and talk to Satras one more time. And to join the Paladins, he said we need to cleanse the Temple of Adanos. So to get there, it's a very simple way. You have a ring that was given to you in the Temple of Adanos itself. You just click on it and it teleports you right at the center of the temple itself. Once you talk to Satras, this ritual begins. It takes quite a bit of time, a few minutes. A lot of skeletons spawn in between, and even a demon at the very end, who gives you a nice bow. I think the strongest bow in the game, called the Hand of Chaos. And once you're done, you talk to Satras again, and the ritual of consecration has been done, finished. They will now join the Paladins for the War of the Orcs. We can now go also back to the Brotherhood, talk to Gornakosh, and deliver him the speed potions from the pirates. Make sure you talk to him twice. We're also gonna go see Greg one more time. And Greg wants the ship from the Paladins to actually join in the fight. The hunters are the next on the list. We go talk to Falk. And for this case, for them to join us, we must create 10 armors for them so they can fight. Even though they already have troll armors, he wants minecrawler armors, which are better for the fight against the orcs. But since we don't know where Wolf is, we have to talk to Lee, but he doesn't know. And even though I asked every single mercenary, nobody knows where Wolf is. So, as a scout, you can actually invisibly pass sneak through all the orcs because Wolf is in the dungeon under the marketplace in the city. You can also use one of the black mist potions if you have it in your inventory, and it works basically the same way as invisibility for the scouts. Once you get to Wolf, you talk to him, he will give you a key. This key opens a chest in the Valley of Mines in the ice region where he kept his recipe for the Minecrawler armor. You can now teleport to the new camp in the Valley of Mines. And if you don't know where this is supposed to be, it's basically in the same area you have been fighting all the lizard men, all the orcs, and at the end as well the ice dragon in chapter 4. If you're still looking for the chest, don't look anywhere too far. It's situated inside the cave where the dragon was. If you played Gothic 1, you would know that Wolf was actually living in that part of this area, even though this area seems a lot smaller than it was in Gothic 1, it's still there. So on top of this little hill to the left, there will be a chest that is locked as red, so you definitely need a key for it. And this is where Wolf's key comes in handy. You'll open the chest and you will see that the recipe for the Minecrawler plate armor is inside. You can then find it in your inventory, read it. You will now know how to create it on the armorsmith's bench under Forge. You will need 100 of Minecrawler plates. If you don't know where to get them, 50 are sold by Rafa in the Hunter's Camp, and 50 can also be bought from one of the blacksmiths in the Valley of Mines. You will have to create each Minecrawler plate armor separately. You cannot just put in 10 and... No, you have to click on separately and count them each individually. You create them, you go back to Falk, you deliver the armor, and then they are officially with the paladins to fight against the orcs. We can now go back to Lord Hagen and tell him about the good news about everybody that is going to join his army to fight against the orcs. I have already delivered most of the messages. Here's the last message from the hunters. And he tells you that you also need to tell Pyrakar about all the news that has been happening, and eventually we'll also have to go to the monastery itself. So here we are in the monastery base cellar. We talk to Pyrakar that has been studying how to defeat the Guardians. We tell him about the good news, everything that has been happening with getting all the people for the war. Pyrakar has also found out some news about how to defeat the Guardians in the meantime. And at this point, he will also be able to say that he will gladly join the fight against the orcs. They all have teleportation runes, so they don't need to get out the front door of the monastery, and eventually you will see them at Owner's Farm. And for one more quest that involves reliable people with Diego, we're gonna get 3 people for this, and the easiest way to get them is by choosing this path behind Owner's Farm where the trolls were and snappers, and just clearing everything beforehand before you get everyone back. Clear the orcs, because these orcs do not have that protection on them that kills you instantly. Instead, there's gonna be a couple of lizards, mostly just harmful animals, but you still want to clear them so the boys that you're gonna take don't engage in any combat unnecessarily. You wanna go past the excavations, past the mines, past the Circle of the Sun, and go all the way to Akil's farm, or Akil's farm. Taurus and Scatty will be inside, while Cavalorn will be near the bridge. So grab Cavalorn first, and then go back into the house and grab Taurus and Scatty as well. Just make sure you say that you will help them get to owner's farm, so they don't do it on their own, and maybe one of them will even get killed. Okay? Make sure to talk to both Taurus and Scatty, and then just go to the path that we just showed you, but in the other direction. Once you get to owner's farm on this crossroad, Cavalorn will talk to you automatically. Then you talk to Taurus and Scatty separately and tell them that we are here, that we have arrived. Once that is done, talk to Diego, and the quest has been completed. Then we have to teleport to Fort Asgan and teleport back to owner's farm one more time. So in the meantime, basically the paladins that have been promised to go to owner's farm where everyone will meet will actually teleport there. Once you get to owner's farm, everybody's here. The hunters, the pirates, the dragon hunters, and so on and so forth. We then talk to Lee, and then we talk to Lord Hagen and ask him if he's in charge, but he says that Lee is in charge instead. So Lee will give us another quest after this, and that is with the orc patrons. So basically the orcs have this invisible shield that protects them from being damaged, and we need to get rid of this shield. Lee explains how the whole setup is going to be regarding the war with the orcs on owner's farm's fields. You will have the chance to also participate in this fight later on, as we will show in this video. And then we go back to Pyrocar, where he says that Lee sends us. And since Pyrocar doesn't know everything, we have to find another deity that's besides Innos or Beliar. So we go to Nedbeck in the Valley of Mines, who tells us that the Sleeper has returned. So, through all the troubles that we had in the previous chapters, we have to go through here and find the Sleeper, which is at the very end, same as in Gothic 1. Unfortunately, we won't be able to kill him, because the Sleeper, as soon as we get to him, puts us to sleep. Kind of ironic, isn't it? So don't get too close to him, wait until you wake up. The quest does update in the meantime, and then we go back to Nedbeck in the Valley of Mines to tell him about this problem. Nedbeck, he says that his deity doesn't know why this happens, so we will have to find somebody else to explain us or help us in any way possible. So we go to the Necromancer Crioli, who says that he will help us in exchange if we give him a very specific item, and that would be the Ice Crown of Avanos. We give him the Ice Crown, and then he will give us a special rune with which we have to summon a demon called Eligor. If you remember Eligor's Flame from chapter 2 with Jorah and the Merchant's Guild, this is the same demon, named demon, that will be spawned here. In order to help us, he will give us a special helmet that protects us from the Sleeper's influence. But for this, he has to cut our HP in half. Don't worry about this, we do get it back later after we defeat the Sleeper. So as soon as you get this helmet, you equip it. It has a lot of protection, I think 100 each, and you cannot be affected by the Sleeper. And it kind of looks cool. So we go back to the Sleeper's temple. We talk to the demon itself, and he will explain us how he got back and why he's here, why he was banished in the first place, even though this is a little controversial. That's why even chapter 7 was deleted, because it didn't feel gothic-y anymore. That demons like this come back to life is unheard of. So as soon as you finish his conversation with him, attack him. He does more damage than even the dragons, so be careful how you deal with it. The easiest way, of course, is again if you just use ranged weaponry. If you're playing any other class, you're probably doing it in an even easier way. So when you defeat him, you get 15,000 XP and 8 learning points, and a very special elixir that gives you 100 mana. Then you go back to Nedbeck, that gives you another 10,000 experience, and he replenishes your health to what it was before. Now, if you drink a lot of elixirs in between this time, it will not double the amount. It will just give you the amount back that you lost before you asked Eligor for the helmet. The next step in this process is we have to pray to both gods, sorry, not both, all three gods, Beliar, Innos, and Adanos. In this case, Beliar's case is to defeat the leader of the orcs, Ultral, and we're gonna have to go to the orc city for this. Once you defeat Orctral, this quest will also update, and you can continue with the next one. Of course, you can basically just clear out the entire orc city. There will be no problem afterwards. There's a lot of XP in here that you can get, even a whole level at this point. And if you loot whatever Urtral has on him, no orcs will attack you within the range as long as you don't attack them. But that's up to you if you want to have it or not. You can always get rid of it. Innos, on the other hand, will want us to get rid of the last remaining Beliar worshipper, in this case, the Necromancer Creoli. And even though this Necromancer seems powerful, he is not really any match for us at this point. So we dispose of him. And even the skeletons that he spawns at the last second. And also the quest updates. And you can continue on going to get the Will of Adanos. For this, we're going to have to go to the Plateau of the Ancients and to the Sanctuary of Truth, the big pyramid that's in the southwest of the map. Once you get inside the pyramid, just go through the portal that's on the left side, and the Purgatory of Adanos will be right there. You can also pray for Riordion's soul. And once you get the blessings of all three gods, they will bestow you an armor that is worthy of the Chosen One. And this armor is a reference from Skyrim. It's a skin of Daedric armor, even though it doesn't look as good as it does in that game, but it's still a nice little touch. Once you're done with that, you go back to Nedbeck and then ask him how to actually make a weapon that will defeat these guardians. He will tell you that there have been ancient artifacts scattered around a Valley of Mines, and for this we're gonna have to go to the old places where the dragons used to be. The first one being on the stone fortress. The second one will be where the fire dragon resides in the northern part of the map. Defeat everything that's in there. Make sure you also loot everything. And the last one is near where the ice dragon used to be, but not specifically in the cave. Once you get all of this, you can go back to the owner's farm, talk to Lee, and tell him that the orc problem has been settled. You go also to Pyrocar to ask him for a specific spell that will transfer energy from all those golems that you just killed into the sword that you're going to make out of black ore. Once you're at the forge or the anvil, make a weapon of your choice. Make sure it's a black ore sword, either strength or dexterity. Or just make a two-handed sword that's only a black or two-hander. It doesn't have any requirements though. It does require, however, 10 black ore, and if you're short on that, you can go to the Shadow Valley and get some there. I think they sell some there. Once you're done with that, equip the black sword and look for the spell that's in your inventory, click on it, and the black sword will upgrade to the Wrath of the Gods. The most powerful weapon in the game. Once you're done with that, you have to teleport back to the area where you first met the Guardians. And there will be quite a few of these demons that are only killable with this weapon. If you have a rune and you're a mage, it's the same process, but you have to use rune magic instead. When you kill all these demons, the portal will open into a separate area where there will be a demon boss. The demon boss itself, it's not so hard to kill because he is vulnerable to bow damage. So you can always equip your bow and just kill him like that. On the other hand, I tried killing him with my two-handed weapon, and only going forward attacks worked. Side attacks didn't work, probably because the demon is very tall and it just doesn't reach him from side attacks. Okay, here's the fight. It does have quite a bit of health, 50,000 on the easiest mode. It probably has 200,000 on the hardest. And he does quite a bit of damage as well, plus he spawns these little creepers or little servants. There's going to be a altar in the nearby vicinity which you have to interact with, and another boss is going to spawn. Now you have to be very careful how you try to fight this guy. I recommend doing it with range, because as soon as he gets to you and actually attacks you, he can kill you in one hit even if you have 10,000 HP. I'm not sure exactly how this works. I never asked anybody either. But I think as more time progresses, the more powerful he becomes. So you just best stay away from him and finish him off from distance. He even changes weapons. He went from two double-handed swords to a spear eventually. Once you kill him, go back to the portal you just came through and go to the door that you saw on your way in. It will open. And you're going to meet Stonos, the last of the Guardians, which you have to defeat. He will explain then how they tricked you, how they were using you and everything, all that. You already know all that, but he will meet his demise nonetheless. The bow also does not work here, so make sure you use your rune or your sword. He doesn't do all that much damage, so this fight should be quite easy for you. It's quite spectacular when you think that the other guy deals a lot more damage than the Guardian itself, but I suppose that's how it is. Once you kill him, the Daedric armor disappears and you have to equip your own armor back. Also, the weapon disappears, so you might have to re-equip everything that you have done before even coming here. Make sure you exit through the portal that leads back to Khorinis, and you're gonna find that all the people that have been summoned to find the orcs are already on Onar's farm's fields. You talk to Lee, and he tells you where to stand, so the orc cinematic sort of starts, and also the fight begins. You can also kill all the orcs yourself if you so wish, but that wouldn't be the point of this anyway. Otherwise, everything that you have done was for nothing. Even Mordok stops me here, and he gives you a bit of gold. I'm not sure if that was from a quest from before, but that's how it is. Anyway, this is the cinematic within the game, where the orc leader raises his hand and tell all the normal orc warriors to attack the humans. I think this is the only spectacular part of chapter 7, and it's the only time where so many people work together to defeat a common enemy. So the orcs are on their way. The humans will fight them. The advantage that the humans have is basically that they have magic powers. So fire mages, water mages, the gurus, that's a big advantage because they can just shoot them from very far. And they have splash damage. There will be, I think, about 200 orcs here. If you don't have a computer that can run this, I don't even recommend you starting this and just skip it. And once the war is over, the humans will celebrate, and you can then also go talk to Lee, who has been injured in battle. And Lord Hagen will take care of him and take him back to Onar's farm. We have a few more quests to go, but he's very proud of you for killing more than a third of the orcs. He says that no matter what, I believe, even if you kill all of them or less than a third. Then you want to talk to Pyrocar, that gives you a quest regarding rune magic. All of the mages have been deprived of their rune magic, so you want to talk to each of them in each group. So We talked to basically one of the fire mages, one of the gurus, one of the paladins, one of the water mages, and all of them have the same problem. They cannot use rune magic anymore because the gods have bestowed all their power basically onto you, the chosen one. Once you talk to all of these, including Lord Hagen, you go back to Pyrocar. Make sure you give everything that you have learned so far. He also asks you to use a spell yourself. He gives you a rune of light. You tell him that you did what he asked. And his assumptions are as true. You are the only one that can use rune magic, and nobody else in this area can. Now that you're done with that, you can basically go on a killing spree. Make sure you just clear out the entire map of orcs, including those that are in the monastery, to lift the siege of the monastery, which will begin shortly. So when you get across the bridge and kill the last of the orcs, the quest as well updates. There's also a siege of town, which has a lot of orcs inside, but the leader will be sitting somewhere near the mayor's house. And once you kill him, the siege of the town has also been lifted. And once you do that, talk to Lord Hagen once again. And that is basically the last quest. At this point, you are asking that you need a ship so you can give the message to the king yourself, since Lord Hagen wants to stay on the island. The new commander for the ship will be the pirate Greg, and the list of all the people that you can recruit for this journey is on the left. So Lee, Gorn, Lester, Diego, Milton, Laris, Angar, Falk, and Taurus. I couldn't find anybody else, but that's about it. When you talk to all of them, return to the ship in the Corinus harbor. Go talk to Captain Greg, in this case. And basically, the game here ends. You have done everything possible, and now we just wait for the credits. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this incredible journey. I know it took a long time, and we finally finished New Balance. This was New Balance 3.0, of course. The new update that came on the 5th of November is now called New Balance 4.0. Chapter 7 has been deleted. A lot of modifications has been made. The Guardians don't make a pivotal role at the end of the game. But if you want to know more about this mod, of course, check rpgrussia.com. Join our Discord if you're still interested in playing this mod, of course. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more future updates. And as always, thanks for watching.